Hi, I'm Jessica Plamondon with Royal LePage Atlantic and the Pike Group, and I am here with the lovely Alicia Pilon with formerly ADT Home Securities, but there's been some big changes. I'll let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her business.
Thank you, Jessica. My name is Alicia Pilon, and I reside in the Fall River area. Right now, I'm with Telus Custom Security Services, which used to be ADT Security Services in Canada, and we were just recently bought out about a year ago.
That's a big change going to corporate.
Well, corporate ADT was a huge company based out of the States. And when they sold ADT Canada off to TELUS, it was a great opportunity for ADT Canada to be taken over by another Canadian company, which is really, really nice to have happen. So,
Oh, I didn't realize they were both Canadian companies.
well, the Canadian portion of the company was bought out, but they were an international company before that.
Gotcha. Right on, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how long have you lived in Fall River?
We moved here 4 years ago. We've always loved the area. My husband is from Clayton Park, Fairview area growing up, and I'm from the Annapolis Valley. So Fall River was a nice place to have some land and some nature and not, houses side by side each other. So I wanted a little bit more of a yard for my kids to run around in.
Yeah, it is so beautiful here, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and the lakes are awesome. I drive along Highway 2 along the lakes, and yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, where I come from, there's nothing like this. This is just paradise for me. Right on. So tell me, so going back to ADT and Telus Home Securities, what made you decide to get into this business?
I don't know if I decided to get into the business or if it just life decided for me. When I was in university, working for a university bar, I was robbed, and that kind of just naturally progressed into I sold security fencing, and then I went and worked for ADT Security back in 2008, and I just loved the feeling of being able to go in to a residential home, someone's home where they felt that their privacy has been invaded, and they were just robbed. Somebody just rummaged through their underwear drawer and help them gain a little bit of peace of mind back living in their home, help them feel a little bit more comfortable with their own personal surroundings again. And that sold me. And my husband and I both are in the tech industry over the years, and so I just continued on. And then back after mat leave, I decided to go back into security and in the small business and commercial channels mainly. And now I get to help small businesses and commercial sectors secure their properties and secure their livelihoods, and just make that feeling of security for their employees, which kind of started the whole thing back when I was in university. The lack of security and some of the things that happened probably could have been um,
Prevented.
avoided. Yeah, yeah. So I like to be able to take that into my customers.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, that's very, very forward thinking of you.
I don't know if it was forward thinking or if it was just kind of happened. So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, there's been so many changes. Like, gosh, you blink and, decades go by in tech. So I can't imagine what it was like when you first started in the business. Was it 12 years ago?
yeah, it was when I initially started, there was always the nice to have products. Everybody would want a camera system in their house, but it just wasn't, always the most feasible thing to do. And now the systems are, like Wi-Fi cameras, doorbell cameras, watching little fluffy bounce around while you're at work when we're allowed to all return to work. So and know what's going on during the day when your kids come home after school and you're not there. So there's definitely a lot of changes, just like our cell phones. It's just got the tech has gotten better and more affordable for a lot of people to be able to attain it, where back in 2008 it was kind of more of a nice to have.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I'm dying to ask, what are some of the oddest requests you've had in home security?
It always seems to be video cameras because people want to see the strangest things, like they want to see their dogs or their, like my cat just came in the room here. They just want to see, what's going on. I think now that we've been a year of everybody being on Zoom, we all have seen what's going on in people's homes during the day.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of one of that. And then just like, I would like to have a camera here. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Or I want to record to, audio. And I'm like, nope, against the law in Nova Scotia. There's privacy laws. So, people, it's an education thing. And so they're like, I want to do this. And I'm like, we can't do that for you.
That's
So
interesting because so it's against the law in Nova Scotia because in real estate, we've heard situations where people have been filming a buyer tour going through a home.
the people that are being filmed, and there's a whole, laws and stuff on this. And the biggest thing is you have to, the laws haven't really caught up to the technology.
Right.
So,
I mean, I always advise my clients when we're seeing homes, and sometimes we see good, bad, and we see really ugly. So I always advise my clients before we go into the home, let's keep our opinions to ourselves until we're outside of the home. But really,
that's,
there could be a Nest camera watching us.
oh, absolutely. And there's more and more of that is happening. And being in the industry, I just think I'm being recorded all the time anyway.
Fair
I
enough.
just have that assumption. Everybody has cell phone cameras. There's cameras all over the place. There's video surveillance everywhere. And so I just assume that I'm on camera somewhere. And so with the laws being that you can't record audio in Nova Scotia because of the Privacy Act, you really those people have to know that they're being recorded. And so we talk about signage. What does the signage have to say? The signage has to have certain wording on it. It can't just be, smile, you're on camera. There's certain, loopholes when it comes to doorbell cameras because there's two-way audio on doorbell cameras where if somebody presses the button on a doorbell, it's essentially giving their permission to talk back and forth on the camera. So there's a bunch of laws and regulations and everything with the Privacy Act that you just kind of have to pay attention to. And that's kind of what our job as security professionals when we go into those situations. Um, hopefully we know or we can find out really quickly. So
Wow, yeah. Isn't that the truth? You kind of just have to assume that you are being recorded at all times.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely especially, your people that are the first I'm never the one that says, oh, I'm going to pull out my cell phone and record this. But everybody does. That's
Yeah,
how,
do it.
that's why we spend so much time on social media watching
Me too,
videos.
yeah.
So, yeah. So,
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Thank you for that. Do you want to share some of your greatest challenges?
um, so I would say the biggest challenge right now is just basically the combining ADT to Telus and letting our customers know that ADT is still around. We're just being rebranded and we're owned by a Canadian company and we're here to service you guys to the best of our abilities and make sure that you guys are all taken care of. So.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let's talk a little bit about Fall River. What do you love most about our neighborhood?
The green space, the trees, the lakes. I absolutely love this area. My husband and I, when we decided to move out this way, we had this area and a couple other areas in HRM picked out, and we decided to come here. We're like 25 minutes from downtown, maybe 20 with the traffic, and 10 minutes to the airport, and I'm only an hour away from the Annapolis Valley or the South Shore. So you get to explore a lot of the province just from being in this area and not necessarily being totally congested within the city. So a little bit more green space for kids to play. And I love the feeling. I loved going into the grocery store and running into Jessica and like all of these people that I know that I've got to know over the 4 years. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a really nice community. There's a great
Mhm.
community feel in Fall River.
Mhm.
And I find
There
that
is
there's a lot of
definitely.
people from all over the world living here because it's such a special community.
That's right. And I think that also goes on the other side of that is you have to be willing to go out and introduce yourself too. So getting involved in the community, there's always organizations and local groups and stuff that are looking for people to help them out. And it doesn't take very much of your time to be involved. It may, people are and organizations are willing to to, to take what you can give them.
Yeah, fair enough.
you know
Um,
so if it's only an hour a month, a lot of places would not turn up a volunteer for only an hour a month. So
Fair enough, fair enough. What types of improvements would you like to see in our community?
I we talked about this just before, and I can't really think of anything. Like, I would love to have, like, I live out the highway too a little bit further, so I would like to have the sidewalks extended a little bit further along the highway. But where would you stop? It's a highway. So the other side of it is, I do know from local business owners that I've talked to, is they would love to see more public transportation come right into the Fall River area and then
That's a
connect.
strange choice to put the bus circle out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. And so just to bring it in and then connect to the other connections like in Sackville and stuff would be a great opportunity for them to have employees be able to come into their area, but also for our own residents to be able to, to get around and stuff a little bit more. As well as the seniors complex that they've been talking about and stuff. It would be beneficial to allow our aging community to be able to stay in their community. They've
Yeah,
been here for years and they've built this community, from from nothing to what it is now. And it would be really disappointing if they had to leave.
yeah, I agree. I agree
Yeah.
completely. Another thing I'd like to see is more sidewalks, especially around the high school, because I find the kids get out of the high school onto that road. I forget, it's off, I want to say Kinclaven, but all these kids come out of the high school and there's nowhere for them to go.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
you're
So
looking at
right
the
in some.
road and you got cars parked on one side, you've got kids walking up the other side, and it's like bobbing and then the sun's right in their eyes. So I would like to see more sidewalks. I would agree with you there.
Okay, cool.
And what's your favorite restaurant here in Fall River?
This is a really hard one to pick one, because we love the Turtleback and the Fourth Lock, but we do frequent Tim Hortons and Dairy Queen and McDonald's a
Yeah,
lot.
and the Good Day Cafe
And
is so good too.
oh, and the Good Day Cafe is my go-to spot to meet with girlfriends, to have coffee, or to network with local business owners. The Good Day is always my spot. So
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the chat, Alicia. It's
thank
always
you.
your lovely face, and I look forward to bumping into you in the Sobeys again.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Take care.